Paul, thank you for having us here at your machine shop today. Now, what I really like about your company, and I've learned quite a lot just by talking to you, but you're really customer focused, aren't you? It's almost like you take for granted the fact that, well, you can make the parts, but you are really driven by your customer. What is it you feel that you do here?
I think the things that we do differently to a lot of other companies is that the customer really is the focus of everything we do. So rather than someone just sending us a drawing and then us banging out a quote and making it, what we like to do is actually get to know the customer, go and see them, run through exactly what they want. And this has helped us with quite a number of customers. For example, particularly with regards to development parts, that sort of thing. If, for example, there's been an issue with a drawing, we can always go back to them and say, actually, we don't think this is going to work because of whatever it might be. And that way, the whole process seems a lot more slicker and they get more of what they want at the end.
And I think honesty is the best policy. You're giving people the parameters and you're being honest, and you're only going to get repeat custom by that. Now, I've got to say, this machine shop is absolutely immaculate. How is it that you keep this machine shop so clean?
Them.
I think you've hired our staff as well, haven't you?
Colin, you missed a bit.
But in all honesty, it is really clean. You know, what are the benefits of keeping it looking so good?
I think the reason we like to keep the place clean is because, first of all, it looks professional. It gives a good impression, but also from a manufacturing point of view, we find it much easier to find all of the equipment that we need. We know exactly where everything is, so it speeds the whole process up, which therefore makes things cheaper for the customer. So it's easier for us and it's cheaper for the customer.
What are your next plans? Because you're very successful as a company. You know, you're in this machine shop now. You've got lots of machines. Investing in people, machines. Where are you going?
With regards to people, Ben has recently finished his apprenticeship, so he's now fully qualified and up and running. We've just taken on another apprentice. We've had him for 3 months now, and he's doing really well. Going forward, we think the apprenticeship route is what we're going to continue to do. Everyone knows there's a massive skill shortage within the industry. So we think the best way of doing it is to get people in here who are young, keen to learn the industry, and basically then we can teach them sort of our way of doing things, and then they don't pick up any sort of bad habits, anything like that. So later on in the year, we're going to be looking at taking on at least one apprentice who we've potentially got lined up, and then possibly again another one next year. With regards to equipment, again, we're looking at taking on probably another lathe later in the year, and then towards the back end of the year, possibly another mill.
So you are busy, aren't you? You really are. You know, it's the people and also the machine shop too. Yeah. In terms of the machine shop expansion, where are you going to go next? What are your future plans there?
Once we've got the extra machines on board, I think what we might look at doing is, at the moment, we work from about 6:30 till 5. And I think what we're going to look at doing is maybe doing a split shift, so maybe get a couple more people on board and then start earlier, finish later, and that way we don't have to move right away. It just means that we'll have extra capacity.
And I think other machine shops might be thinking in a similar route as you. So I want to see some parts, so let's go see.
I've had enough of this, mate.
Missed a bit over there, though.
It's not going to happen, mate. Let's talk about your parts. Thank you very much. You're hard task, masters. That's why you've got such a beautiful machine shop. But moving on, turn parts. Tell me, this is your turn itself. Tell me about this.
Yeah, this is a aluminium piece we do. Do lots of various different sizes of this particular component. Relatively straightforward, but the thin-walled nature of it means you have to take that in consideration when you manufacture this particular part. So we make sort of special sort of fixtures that go inside it, stop it collapsing when you're holding it. But yeah, nice job, do lots of them.
Yeah, it is. Just to highlight, yeah, the really thin walls there, and you make your own fixturing as well.
We do, yeah. This particular bit, yeah.
And then this part here is winking at me as well, so all turned?
Turning and milling this particular bit. 2 ops in the lathe, has some screw cutting on the first op, a face groove, and then this particular side is pretty well sort of machined to size. Then it goes in the lathe, sorry, the mill, and then has all the various holes put in. Most of them are fairly straightforward, but this particular one's a compound angle, so we actually have to machine our own fixtures to create the angle.
So you've got a 4-axis machine?
Yeah, 4-axis machine, but in this particular instance we only use 3-axis, but we make the jigs to create the angle. We need to put them in at the particular a position and angle that the customer needs. But yeah, stainless steel, again, do quite a lot of these particular ones.
So, aluminium, stainless steel, so you do all materials essentially?
Pretty well, yeah.
Yeah,
We do the exotic stuff, we do the plastics, coppers, you name it, yeah, we'll have a go at it, yeah.
Okay, and that was turned but milled as well, so it's not, I think that's a nice way to go over to Gio, who's at your milling cell.
Okay.
I'm going to go and talk to Ben on how he manufactured this aerospace component. Ben, how are you, all right?
Yeah, not bad, thanks.
Ben, I just want you to tell me how you've manufactured this aerospace component, please.
Yes, well, all of the operations carried out on this were done on the mills, and we managed to limit it down to 3 operations in total. So the way that we'd do it is we'd mount this down to a huge mounting plate instead of the conventional holding it in a vise and all that sort of stuff. And we'd carry on by doing sort of pocketing, profiling, all of that in the first operation. And then on the second operation, we'd flip it over, continue to machine it to size, and then we'd actually cut the corner ads in using the corner ad tool, and it actually limits it down to a lot less time, and it's a lot more effective. And finishing off, we'd just come back to here, and then we'd hold it up on an angle plate and just machine out the top. And for the customer specifications, they generally want it just all sanded at the end just to give it a finish, really.
You make it sound quite simple, Ben. I can see quite some features here on this component that look quite complex in regards to the wall thickness over that kind of surface area. So it's about 1 mil wall thickness. So how did you overcome these issues?
Generally, it really all depends on some of the material we get through. But the way we go about it is we'd hit it very, very, very slow, and we'd have to take very small hits. But in some cases, depending on what the material is like, will determine how it reacts to being machined, really. In some cases, we've had it where it's bowed and it's taken off more than necessary. And but yeah, in some cases we can get away with it, and you know, you never know what's going to happen.
Well, you've overcome the problems, and it's great to see. Now, this is not the kind of component you can really hold with conventional work holding. So you're actually manufacturing your own fixtures as well?
Yes, it generally is just a massive aluminium plate that we hold onto the machine table, and then everything else is then clamped down and bolted to this. So it's a case of swapping clamps from each side, machining one side, moving the clamps to the other side, and then so on and so forth, just to overcome it all, really.
Now, this is really showing off the skill levels that you have here at Clarent Precision, and you were the apprentice here. You're not anymore, you're fully qualified.
I'm fully qualified now, yeah.
Now, I just want to ask you really, you know, what got you into engineering?
It was actually by accident, really. Initially, I went into a mechanics course, but due to complications and that, I never actually got into it. So it's about 2 weeks beforehand of actually getting into the course, and them saying that I couldn't do it led me to starting to look for other things. So 2 weeks beforehand, I was in a rush to try and find things, and they pointed me in the right direction towards engineering. Now, bear in mind, I never really knew much about it beforehand, and as soon as I walked into the workshop, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. It was exactly down to what I wanted to do, because I was really hands-on, and I've always enjoyed making things, and then, yeah, it went from there.
That's fantastic. John's told me that he's looking to invest in even more apprentices. There's a big emphasis here and a big ethos and such pride in the work that you do here, but the cleanliness of the workshop as well. Yeah. And that's just such a great endorsement for the company, really.
Yeah, well, we have actually got another apprentice on board at the minute, but he's not here at the minute. But yeah, I mean, it gives me other opportunities to train him and teach him up, and you know, allows me to, you know, just recap on things, and along that, I learn other things from it in the same process. But yeah, it's.
Ben, thanks for your time. I'm going to just have another quick look at this component here. This is a component that's been 3D scanned and milled with 3D milling operations. Now, the outside of this component looks quite simple, but when you look internally, you can see the kind of complexity that's involved and the kind of cutters that's involved inside that component. So this component really shows off the kind of work that can be done here at Clarent Precision.